FORA.tv. The world is thinking.
And as I'll take a hard line here, delusion is always dangerous. And the big example I would give of that is the '08 financial meltdown. There are many things that fed into that. I'm not going out, obviously, into a whole analysis of the economics and the different weird, exotic financial instruments and so on. But, you know, many people got way over their heads in debt, ordinary people. And in what frame of mind do you assume large amounts of debt? Well, a positive frame of mind. You think that you're not going to get sick, your car's not going to break down, you're not going to lose your job, and you're going to be able to pay it off. And if your pastor is in addition saying, as Joel Osteen has said many times, God wants you to have a larger house, and you could never before qualify for a mortgage, and somebody comes along and says, boy, do I have the mortgage for you, it seems like God has reached down to help you with that. Mostly, though, I blame the top levels of a corporate culture which by the middle of this decade was completely in a bubble of mandatory optimism and positive thinking. Countrywide mortgage, for example, which arguably, set off the whole subprime crisis, has been described by a former vice president as having a cult-like atmosphere, a culture of high fives and woo-woos, or whatever. I can't do that noise right, the woo sound. But the other thing that I found is that people who raised questions were eliminated or told to shut up. There are so many examples of this. You could not voice negativity in the workplace, including in the finance industry. My favorite example, and there are many of them, is the man who ran the real estate division of Lehman Brothers in 2006 went to the CEO of Lehman Brothers and said, I think this housing thing is a bubble, and we better adapt our business plan accordingly. For that, he was fired, because that was negative thinking. You don't want that around. Nobody could see it coming except for, a half dozen people or so, economists, but mostly corporate America had gone into this bubble of denial where bad things could never happen. The other problem I have with the whole ideology of positive thinking is I think it's cruel, just plain cruel. Finally, some people in the cancer care business, for example, oncology nurses, are beginning to speak out against this pressure on patients to be positive, saying it's just another burden. It's like saying in addition to your disease, you've got this thing wrong in your head, which you've got to work on. It's also cruel, totally cruel, to the victims of other misfortunes or awful disasters. When the tsunami of 2006 happened, the author of The Secret was asked to explain it, and her comment was essentially that the people, the victims of the tsunami, must have been sending out tsunami-like vibrations into the universe, because nothing happens to you unless you have attracted it to yourself. I'm very upset when it's applied to people who are poor or having economic hard times, and so many people are now. I see them quoted, people quoted all the time who've been searching for jobs for months and months in the last year, and will say things like, I'm trying so hard to keep positive. And I want to say, don't bother trying that. You deserve to be angry. You deserve to ask questions about what kind of economy this is that cannot use the talents and the experience and the skills of so many people, that just tosses them away. Now, I have my own very radical alternative to positive thinking. It is not negative thinking, because I think negative thinking can be just as delusional. I mean, you can delude yourself into thinking that everything you do is going to fail or make you miserable. The alternative is realism, trying to see the world not colored by either our wishes or our fears, and understand what is really happening so we can do something about it.